List of lies that wolves or misguided ones teach. Top of the list, Trinity. There is no equalization with the Father and the Son. Lie number 2, you can pray to white JC. No. For one thing, he's not the real one. And scriptures say when the true melanated Yahusha was on the earth, he prayed to someone else. Lie number 3, HS, the world knows, but we true believers, called out ones, know is Ruach HaKodesh, is not an it, is not a male. She's a female. Very powerful. She's the real mother of Yahusha. Lie number 4, the modern churches of Christianity have replaced the melanated Yasharites. No, there's no replacement theology. Lie number 5, the real Mashiach is a white person with a pagan name. No, that's a lie. Lie number 6, it's okay to use titles like father and rabbi and pope and all. No, not according to scriptures. Lie number 7, the true people of scriptures are those people over there fighting in the Middle East. No, it's not what scriptures teach. Lie number 8, you can have any type of sexual life you want. Nope, it's not what scriptures teach. Lie number 9, once saved, always saved. Nope. Lie number 10, all roads lead to Yahuwah. Nope. Lie number 11, all Torah laws, commands were nailed to the pagan idol CROSS. Nope. Lie number 12, our redemption, or you may say salvation, is not work-based. Lie. Yes, it is. You have to have the righteous works. You have to have the fruit that goes with your belief. Lie number 13, speaking in tongues is proof you have Ruach. Nope. And that's a lie. Lie number 14, Yahuwah knows your heart. It's okay if you don't change. Nope. That's a lie. Got to change. Got to put on a new personality. Lie number 15, it's okay if you use pagan words. Nope. It's not okay. Lie number 16, you can use idols in your worship to Yahuwah. Nope. Can't use idols. Lie number 17, Sabbath starts at night, and it's a night-to-night celebration. Nope. Each day starts at dawn, including Sabbath day. Lie number 18, we don't have to be set apart from the world. Nope, that's a lie. Scriptures say we have to be set apart from the world. Lie number 19, the Mashiach loves all religions. Nope, that's a lie. Absolutely does not. Lie number 20, there's a rapture. Nope, no rapture. Lie 21, once you're saved, you're no longer a sinner. No, that's a lie. Got to endure to the end. Lie number 22, you don't have to be immersed in Yahusha's name. That's a lie. You got to be immersed. Lie 23, Satan is a myth. No, he's very real. There's multiple Satans, Hasatans. Lie 24, we are in the little season at the end of the 1,000-year millennial reign. No, that's a lie. Lie 25, you can eat lamb today in the lands of your captivity for the Passover. No, that's a lie. You're not allowed to eat lamb. Lie 26, you can still observe all festivals in the land of your captivity. No, that's a lie. Lie 27, Yahusha died on a CROSS. No, that's a lie. He died on a tree. Lie 28, you can get remarried after your divorce if your first spouse is still alive. No, that's a lie. Lie 29, King Dawid is the Mashiach. There is no Yahusha. It's only King Dawid. No, that's a lie. Lie number 30, only the melanated Yasharite people have redemption. No Gentiles have redemption. No, that's a lie. Lie 31, no believer can be influenced or possessed by a demon. No, that's a lie. So these are all lies. Wolves, especially the melanated wolves, are going to try to teach you. Those are lies. Now, like I said earlier in the beginning, each one of these 31, and there's more, I'm just covering 31, each one of these 31 lies is a study into itself. It's your responsibility to get oil for your own lamp. How do we know? Well, let's stick to scriptures. Let's go to Matthew. Shalom, Chuck. We missed you in Telegram, sweetie. Hugs to Barbara for us, if you can catch her. All right, so the first verse we're going to look at is Matthew 25. Every believer is responsible to get your own oil for your own lamp. It's a requirement. You can't rely on me and my studies that I've done for years. You can't rely on anyone else. You have to get your own oil for your own lamp. Let's start with Matthew 25. Because there's foolish believers and there's wise believers. Which one are you going to be? Depends on your work. Depends on your work that goes with your belief. Matthew 25. Matthew 25. Then the reign of the firmament shall be compared to 10 maidens who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. So this is believers. 10 is earthly completion. So I was talking about 10 maidens, which means earthly completion to the four corners of the earth, you with gathering believers. They take their lamps, which is Torah. Psalms 119, 105 says Torah is the lamp to our road and the light to our footsteps. So Torah is the lamp. Went out to meet the bridegroom. That's Yahushua HaMashiach. The wedding hasn't taken place yet. We're still waiting for the wedding. Verse 2. Five of the maidens, believers, 5 were wise and 5 were foolish. Verse 3. Those who were foolish, having taken their lamps, took no oil. That's deep studying. That's hidden deep truths. Proverbs chapter 25, 2 says, Yahuwah hides truths. It's up to us to search it out. It's up to the kings to search it out. So these foolish believers have a lamp, but they have no oil. So they're called foolish. Verse 4, but the wise took oil in their containers with their lamps. Containers is plural. So they didn't have just one container. They have the lamp full of oil, which is deep study. Ruach giving you, opening up your eyes, removing the veil to truths. So the oil represents deep truths given. Your lamp represents Torah. Everybody's judged by Torah. Your works go along with your belief. Your works of righteousness. Verse 5 of Matthew chapter 25. Now while the bridegroom, that's Yahushua, took time, they, that's all the believers, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight a cry was heard, see, the bridegroom is coming. Go out to meet him. Then all those maidens represent believers, all those maidens rose up and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said to the wise, give us of your oil, because our lamps are going out. So you've got wise believers who study, who pray, meditate, fast, read. And you got the foolish who just want to steal what the true wise believers have researched and learned from research and reading and studying. So the foolish said to the wise, they didn't even say, please, may we have it. Scripture says, give us. They're demanding you to give them truth. They don't want to do the work. They don't want to look up the research. They just want you to tell them, hey, if there's no Trinity, you tell me. No, they're going to look up the verses themselves if they're wise. Notice the answer of the wise believers, verse 9. But the wise answered, saying, no, indeed. There would not be enough for us and you. So this is believer against believer. Wise believer telling foolish believers, no, I'm not going to give you all my study notes. I'm not going to tell you everything that's true in the scriptures that I did my research to find out. You go do your own research. So the wise are saying no to the foolish. Yes, you can say no to another believer. This is what scriptures teach. Therefore, there would not be enough for us and you. Instead, go to those who sell it and buy for yourselves. Verse 10. And while they, the foolish ones, went to buy, the bridegroom came. And those, the wise ones, who were ready, went in with him to the wedding feast. So we're talking about the bridegroom, the bride with the bride class. The bridegroom inviting the bride class believers into the wedding feast. And the door was shut. Yeah. Door was shut. Verse 11, and later the other maidens, the other believers, foolish ones, also came saying, Master, Master, or Rabboni, Rabboni, or Yahusha, Yahusha, open up for us. Because it's Yahusha that had the authority to shut that door. But he, Yahusha, bridegroom, answering said, truly, I say to you, I do not know you. That sounds familiar from Matthew 7:21 through 23. Watch therefore, because you do not know the day nor the hour in which the Son of Adam is coming. Matthew 25, 1 through 13. Talking to believers only. Because this is a believer's book. Melanated family history book of true melanated believers who were supposed to be a light to the rest of the Gentile world, but they didn't want to be that light. So in 70 AD, the Creator himself destroyed his favored nation and scattered them to the four corners. So the fake nation today is not the real nation. That's a fake nation. It's been raised up by Hasatan. All right, so lie number 1, Trinity. The wolves are going to say the Father is Yahusha in the flesh. No, there is no Trinity. We're going to go to the Master's voice and words himself. So the Master, Yahushua Mashiach. 4 times it talks about him, but I'm going to read more. There's lots of scriptures, but I'm going to go to first Stephen, or you might know him as Stephen. He was martyred. Acts chapter 7. What did he see in a vision? There's no Trinity. Acts 7:55. Trinity is a big false teaching the wolves of all colors try to teach. They're all over TikTok. Try to tell you Yahuwah came to the earth in flesh. The Father, the Creator of all, came to the earth in flesh. No, he didn't. He sent someone else to represent him. He sent his Son. Acts chapter 7, verse 55. He, Stephen, being filled with the set-apart Ruach, looked steadily up into the firmament and saw the esteem of Yahuwah Elohim, the Father. Can't see his face, but you can see his esteem, comma, and Yahusha standing at the right hand of the Father, Elohim. So he in a vision saw the Father sitting on his throne and someone standing next to him. Not sitting in his lap, no. The Son standing next to the Father at the right hand of the Father. No Trinity. Now, 4 times in the scriptures, let's see what Yahusha himself says. Let's go to Yohanan 14:28. Yohanan 14:28. This is a disgusting teaching. Trinity is a disgusting, dishonoring doctrine of demons. Yohanan 14:28. Yahusha himself saying, you have heard that I said to you, that Yahusha said to his melanated followers in the first century, because color matters. This is a melanated family history book. So he was talking to melanated people of the Yasharite melanated nation. Color matters. You heard that I said to you, I am going away and I'm coming to you. If you did love me, you would have rejoiced that I said, Yahusha saying, I am going to the Abba, for my Abba is greater than I. So there's no equalization. There's no Trinity. There's no 3 in 1. No. It's not what Scripture teaches. Let's go to the same book, Yohanan 20, verse 17. Yohanan 20, verse 17. Yahusha still talking after his resurrection. He's talking to Mariam from Magdala. Verse 17, Yahusha said to her, Mariam, do not hold on to me, for I have not yet ascended to my Abba, my Father. But go to my brethren, my Talmudim, and say to them, I am ascending to my Abba and your Abba, to my Alua and your Alua. Yeah, the Son says he has someone greater than him. So there's no Trinity. Now let's go to the book of Hazon, Revelation. There's so many scriptures to prove there's no Trinity. So many scriptures to prove it. For those of us that have been guided by Yahuwah to have our eyes opened and the veil lifted, you can see there's no Trinity. Revelation 1 breaks... Now this is years and years after Yahusha's already left the earth. He's already been resurrected. He's back up where he came from. He came from above. And so notice what Revelation 1:1 says. The Hazon, a revelation of Yahusha HaMashiach, comma, which Elohim, Yahuwah, gave him. So someone higher than Yahusha gave Yahusha a revelation to show his servants what has to take place with speed. And he signified it by sending his messenger to his servant, Yohanan. There's a chain of command. Very obvious, Scripture teaches there's a chain of command. There is no Trinity. Same book, Hazon, Revelation 3, verse 12. 4 times in one verse, our beautiful King, Yahushua HaMashiach, says he has someone greater than him. No Trinity. Years after his resurrection, he's still teaching there's no Trinity. Hazon, Revelation 3:12. Yahushua says, he who overcomes, I shall make him a supporting post in the dwelling place of my Elohim. And he shall by no means go out, and I shall write on him the name, singular, the name of my Elohim, and the renewed city of my Elohim. That's 3 times. Yahushua says in one verse he has someone higher than him that he bows to. The renewed Jerusalem, which comes down out of the firmament. There's no rapture anywhere. Everything's coming down to the earth. Comes down out of the firmament from my Elohim and my renewed name. 4 times in one verse. Yahusha, the greatest one that ever walked this earth, says there's no Trinity. So that's lie number 1 I hate, and you should hate as well. Yes, we are to hate what Yahusha hates and love what Yahusha loves, and we are to hate what Yahuwah hates and love what Yahuwah loves. They hate lies of men. Hate the Trinity lie. Lie number 2, you can go ahead and pray to white JC. Christianity teaches you can pray to white JC. No, for what? No. We don't pray to a creation, especially a false one. Matthew 6, 9 through 13. What did the true melanated Son, who was created, so there's no Trinity, what did he teach when he was on the earth to his Talmudim? Matthew 6, 9 through 13. This, then, is the way you should pray. So Yahusha on the earth is teaching his Talmudim, the 12 apostles, melanated ones, how to pray. This is an example of a prayer. Our Abba. So Yahusha includes himself in the prayer. He says our. Our Abba, who is in the firmament, let your name be set apart. He didn't say let my name. He said the Father, Abba's name, be set apart. Let your reign, he says someone else owns the reign. Let your reign come. Let your desire, someone else's desire, be done on the earth as it is in the firmament. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors, and do not lead us, he's even including himself in the word us because he's teaching them how to pray. Do not lead us into trial, but deliver us from the wicked one, because yours, he's talking to Abba, yours is the reign and the power and the esteem forever. So be it. Yahusha taught the Talmudim not to pray to him, but to pray to someone higher than him. He also taught the Talmudim to go through his name when they're praying to the one higher than him. Let's go to Yohanan, John chapter 14. Yahusha still teaching his Talmudim how to pray. Verse 12, Yohanan, John 14:12. Yahusha talking, truly, truly, I say to you, he who believes in me, the works that I do, he shall do also. So yeah, we have to do works. This is Yahusha talking. He's saying, if I do works, you will do works as well. So works and belief go together. The verse goes on to say, and greater works than these he shall do, because I go to my Abba. And whatever you ask in my name, so he's still teaching the Talmudim how to pray properly through the Son's name. He says, and whatever you ask in my name, That I shall do in order that the Abba, Yahuwah, might be esteemed in the Son. There you go again. No Trinity. No equalization. Verse 14, Yahushua teaches, if you ask whatever in my name, I shall do it. Verse 16, he says, and I shall ask the Father. So again, Yahushua's not teaching Trinity. He's teaching someone's greater than him. If they recognize Yahushua's position in the kingdom, he then turns and asks his Father, who's higher than him. Verse 16 of Yohanan 14, then I shall ask the Father, and he shall give you another helper to stay with you forever. That's Ruach HaKodesh. So you don't pray to the Son, as Christianity teaches to pray, and they even teach you to pray to a white one, and he was never white. John 17, also, Yohanan 17, is a prayer of the Son praying to someone else higher than him. Yohanan 17:1. So we don't pray to the Son because the Son didn't teach anyone to pray to him. No, he taught everyone to pray to someone else. So you don't pray to the Son, you don't pray to white JC. Yohanan 17:1. Yahushua said these words, and he lifted up his eyes to the firmament. And he said, Abba. So Yahushua is setting the example that everybody, including himself, has to pray to someone higher than the Son. Abba, the hour has come. Esteem your Son, so that your Son also might esteem you, as you have given him, the Son, authority over all flesh. So someone higher gives the Son authority over all flesh here on the earth. So there's a chain of command. As you have given him authority over all flesh, that he should give everlasting life to all whom you, the Father, has given him. And this is everlasting life, that they, the Talmudim, and the rest of us, should know you, comma, the only true Elohim, and, there's an and in there, Yahushua HaMashiach, whom you have sent. So in this prayer, Yahushua's teaching his Talmudim how to pray. He's talking to someone higher than him. He's addressing the fact that someone higher than him sent someone else separate from the Father to the earth, and that would be the Son. So the Son always taught his Talmudim to pray to the Father. Don't pray to him, but you pray through his name, because the Father established the Son on his throne. Line number 3. The world calls HS, we know as Ruach HaKodesh. The world says HS is an it or a male figure or the Father's own Ruach. No, she's someone totally different, and she's a she. She's a she. Proverbs chapter 3 says she's the tree of life. So if you ever wanted to know what the tree of life was, it's not an apple tree, it's not an orange tree. It's Ruach HaKodesh. In the 66, Proverbs chapter 3, Ruach HaKodesh is wisdom, is the tree of life. Proverbs chapter 3. Verse 13. Baruch is the man who has found wisdom, and the man who gets understanding, for the gain from it is better than the gain from silver, and its increase than fine gold. She, the pronoun she. Verse 15. She, Ruach HaKodesh, the world calls HS, she is more precious than rubies, and all your delights are not comparable to her. Length of days is in her right hand. Yep, she has a right hand and a left hand and a head and a shoulder. That's who Hawa was created in the image of. Hawa, Eve, created in Mama Ruach's image. Adam, created in the Father's image through the Son. So verse 16, Proverbs 3. The length of days is in her right hand. Riches and esteem is in her left hand. Verse 17. Her ways, wisdom, Ruach HaKodesh, the world calls HS. Her ways are pleasant ways, and all her paths are shalom. Notice what verse 18 says. This may shock some of you. Truth shocks a lot of people. She is a tree of life. Yeah, tree of life. To those taking hold of her. And Baruch are all who retain her. Verse 19. It may shock you. Because it's all the way back in Genesis chapter 1. But notice what verse 19 of Proverbs 3 says. Yahuwah, Father, Abba, founded the earth by wisdom. He established the firmaments by understanding. Wisdom was there in the beginning. Mama Ruach was in there. We serve a family above. It's not polytheism. It's not Trinity. It's a family. Genesis chapter 1 goes with what we just read in Proverbs chapter 3, verse 19. 3:19 says, you have founded the earth by wisdom. Wisdom is a she. She's the tree of life. She's created. We're going to read in the book of Sirach. She's created. Genesis chapter 1. The earth, in the beginning, Yahuwah Elohim created the firmament and the eretz, or the earth. And the eretz came to be formless. Came to be. Didn't start it out that way. It came to be. Something happened. We don't know, but something happened. The earth came to be formless and empty, because Yahuwah punished people, or fallen ones. And darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Ruach of Yahuwah Elohim is wisdom, someone separate than him. And the Ruach of Elohim was moving on the face of the waters. That was Mama Ruach HaKodesh. Hello, people, read. Get your oil for your lamps. Now we'll go to the book of Sirach. She's created in the beginning. Father and mother were together before there ever was a son. S-O-N. Sirach chapter 1, verse 4. Wisdom was created before all other things, even before her own son, we know as the Logos, as the word Yahushua HaMashiach, the melanated one. Revelation 1, 14, 15. Wisdom was created first. Mother was created first. Wisdom was created before all other things. And prudent understanding from eternity. Verse 6. I'm reading from Sirach chapter 1, verse 6. The root of wisdom, to whom has it been revealed? Her, wisdom is pronoun female, her subtleties, who knows them? Verse 8. There is but one who is wise, greatly to be feared, seated upon his throne. So that's the Father. It is he who created her. You got two pronouns. You got a he referring to the Father, Yahuwah. And then you've got her referring to someone else who has a right hand and a left hand. If you just stick to scriptures, and the Apocrypha are inspired scriptures, you will learn the truth, and the truth will set you free from the lies wolves teach. The world calls HS, we know as Ruach HaKodesh, is a her. She's created before all other things, before her son, and Yahuwah created her. He saw her and took her measure. He poured her out upon all his works. You go back to Genesis chapter 1. Who's being poured out? Mama Ruach HaKodesh. Wisdom. Her. He, Yahuwah, poured her, wisdom, out upon all his works. Upon all living according to his gift. He, the Father, lavished her wisdom upon those who love him. There's your helper that Yahushua promised. His own mother. Now you can go in the Apocrypha in the book of Wisdom. Wisdom of Solomon says she's a she. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, verse 22. HS is not the Father. HS is not the Son. HS, we know as Ruach HaKodesh, is her own person. She's a female entity, powerful, sitting on her own throne, and she was created in the beginning. before the sun was created. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, verse 22. I will tell you that wisdom is and how she came to be. And I will hide no secrets from you, but I will trace her course from the beginning of creation. We just read in the book of Sirach, chapter 1, she's the beginning of the creation. She's separate from the Father. In the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, it says, I will trace her course from the beginning of creation and make knowledge of her clear. She's created. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 12. I rejoice in them all because wisdom leads them. But King Solomon wrote this, but I did not know that she was their mother. Hello? Who's your true mother? The invisible one above. If you're a true child of you. You have to have the Apocrypha books. It's not coincidence they were taken out. They're inspired writings. And they teach truth that will set you free from the lies wolves teach. Again, verse 12 of Wisdom of Shlomo, chapter 7. I rejoice in them all because wisdom leads them, but I did not know that she was their mother. She's your true mother. Verse 24 through 27 of the book of Wisdom, chapter 7. For wisdom is more noble than any motion. Because of her pureness, she pervades and penetrates all things. The world calls her HS. That's a pagan title. Give your true mother honor. She's Ruach HaKodesh. She can be poured out on all creation if the Father wants her to be poured out. The scriptures teach. Verse 25, for she is the breath of the power of Yahuwah, not the Son. The Son's not the breath of the power of Yahuwah. The mother is. You first have a father, then you have a mother, then you have children. The Son is not above his own mother. So she, wisdom, Mama Ruach HaKodesh, is a breath of power of Yahuwah. And a pure emanation of the esteem of the Almighty One. Therefore, nothing defiled gains entrance into her. For she is a reflection of the eternal light. She's a reflection of the Father. A spotless mirror of the working of Yahuwah and an image of his goodness. So she's also in the image of the Father, just like the Son is in the image of the Father. There's no Trinity. Notice verse 27 of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7. Although she is but one, she can do all things. And while remaining in herself, she renews all things. She's a very powerful, invisible Ruach female person who sits on her own throne. And scriptures teach she can do all things. She's very powerful. While she remains in her own Ruach body, she can penetrate other people here on the earth. She is but one, the scriptures teach. And she is created. Verse 29. She is more beautiful than the sun and excels every constellation of the stars. Compared with the light, her son is the light. Compared with the light, she is found to be superior. Does that shock you that the mother would be superior to her son? Stick to what the scriptures teach. So the lie of the wolves is HS is either an it or a male or the Father himself. No, that's a lie from the wolves. Don't believe the wolves. Lie number 4. The modern Christianity churches replace the melanated Yasharites. No, they do not. There's no replacement. Theology. Hebrews chapter 8, verse 6 through 13. Let's just stick to what scriptures teach and not twist the scriptures as the wolves twist scripture. The modern churches do not replace the melanated Yasharites. There's just a renewed covenant with the remnant of them. Hebrews chapter 8, verse 6. But now he, that's Yahusha, the bridegroom, has obtained a more excellent service, inasmuch as he, Yahusha, is also the mediator of a better covenant, which was constituted on better promises. So we're not under the first covenant, people, with all of its festivals and its seats and multiple wives, eating lamb. No, we're not under the first covenant, according to Scripture. I stick to Scripture. I'm not sticking to what the wolves teach. Verse 7 of Hebrews 8. For if that first covenant had been faultless, then no place would have been sought for a second covenant. For finding fault with them is the melanated Yasharites, Yahuwah found fault with them. He says, see, the days are coming, says Yahuwah, when I shall conclude with the house of Yasharel and with the house of Yahudah a renewed covenant. So see, Christianity does not replace the melanated ones. No, it's not what Scripture teaches. There's no replacement theology. Nope. There's simply a new, renewed, better covenant with the same people of the original covenant, not the same exact ones, because the ancestors weren't alive in the first century. They were alive 1,500 years earlier, but they blew it on the first Exodus. So Yahuwah is making a renewed covenant with the melanated descendants of the original melanated people called Yasharites and Yahudim. So there's no replacement theology, but there's Gentiles grafted in, but no replacement theology. Let's stick to Scriptures. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand and led them out of the land of Mitzrayim, because he's talking about the original melanated ancestors, they did not continue in my covenant. They blew it big time. And I disregarded them. So yes, Yahuwah disregarded a lot of melanated people a long, long, long time ago that were under the first covenant because they broke his covenant. But he's still dealing with their descendants today. There's no replacement theology. There is, in Romans chapter 11, Gentiles grafted in. But no replacement theology. All right, lie number 5. The real Mashiach is a white guy based off of Caesar Borgias, an illegitimate son of a pope. Popes aren't supposed to be married. They're not supposed to be having sex, but guess what? Lots of them do, and this particular one fathered a man called Caesar Borgias, who you look at a white JC picture, that's his image. Caesar Borgias' image. Go do research. Revelation 1, 14 and 15 tells us we do not serve a white one. Revelation 1, 14 and 15. And his head, that's talking about Yahushua HaMashiach, his head and his hair were white as white wool, as snow, and his eyes a flame of fire, and his feet, because he's covered in a tunic, his feet like burnished brass, as if refined in a furnace, so colored, and his voice is the sound of many waters. He's colored man. Yahushua HaMashiach, the true Redeemer, is not a white JC based off of a Caesar Borgias, illegitimate son of a pope. No! The real one is a beautiful melanated man who walked the earth as a melanated man. Stick to Scriptures. Lie number 6, it's okay to use titles. No, it's not. Let's go to the words of Yahushua. In the first century, what did he teach his Talmudim? Matthew chapter 23. Matthew chapter 23. Did he teach his Talmudim it was okay to use titles? Father, Pope, Cardinal, Bishop. No. Let's stick to what Scriptures teach. Matthew 23, 8 through 12. Yahushua talking, but you do not be called rabbi, for one is your teacher, the Mashiach. So it's the Mashiach talking, and he's saying to the 12, you don't carry that title, rabbi. Nope, it's not for you. It's only for one. Him, Yahushua. One is your teacher, rabbi means teacher, the Mashiach, and you are all brothers. Verse 9, and do not call anyone on the earth your Abba, your father, lowercase father. For one is your Abba, he who is in the firmament. Neither be called leaders, no, for one is your leader, the Mashiach. But the greatest among you shall be your servant. So you see all these pagan churches of all different types of beliefs. They all have their titles, and they're all in sin against what Yahusha taught straight from Scripture. We're all brothers and sisters. We're not supposed to carry the title of bishop. I see that on TikTok. We're not supposed to carry the title of Rabboni. We're not supposed to carry the title of priest. We're not supposed to carry the title of elder. We're not supposed to carry titles, period. We're brothers, ox, and we're Akotis, sisters. We're one family under the true leadership of Yahushua HaMashiach. That's what Scripture teaches. I'm sticking to Scripture. I pray you stick to Scripture too. All right, lie number 7. The true people of Scriptures are the people over there fighting in Gaza. No. Revelation 2:9 and 3:9. Let's stick to Scripture. Revelation 2:9. Yahusha talking. I know your works and your pressure and your poverty, yet you are rich. And the blasphemy of those who say they are Yahudim, but are not, but are a synagogue of Hasatan. So the true proper Abri word is a Yahudim, but the fake word is spelled Jews. There are no J's, there are no E's, there are no W's in the true Paleo Abrith language. So Jews, according to Scripture, they're synagogue of Hasatan. Revelation 3:9. TikTok, this is for entertainment purposes only. Nothing that I say is true. Everything that I say is for pure entertainment only, just to entertain people. Nobody's going to believe anything that I say. Nobody here should ever believe anything I say. TikTok. It's for entertainment purposes only. People should trust the Scriptures only. Revelation 3:9. Entertaining the people. See, I am giving up those of the congregation of Hasatan who say they are Jews or Yahudim and are not, but lie. See, I am making them come and worship before your feet, the melanated feet, and to know that I have loved you, the melanated ones. All right. Lie number 8. You can have any type of sexual lifestyle you want. And that's not in Scripture. That's absolutely not in Scripture. Romans chapter 1. I'm just reading for entertainment purposes only. I'm not condemning anybody. Scripture condemns. I simply read Scripture, and then I go along with what Scripture teaches. So I'm in harmony with what Scripture teaches. Romans chapter 1. Claiming, verse 22, Romans 1:22, claiming to be wise, they become fools. So he's talking about believers in the first century. And change the esteem of the incorruptible Elohim into the likeness of an image of a corruptible man, and of birds, and of four-footed beasts, and of reptiles. Therefore, Yahuwah Elohim gave them up. He gave them up to uncleanness in the lusts of their heart. Jeremiah 17:9 says the heart's more wicked and treacherous than anything else. So Yahuwah gives people up to the uncleanness in the lust of their hearts to disrespect their bodies, which is the temple of Yahuwah, among themselves, who changed the truth of Yahuwah Elohim into a lie, and worshipped and served what was created rather than the Creator, who is Baruched forever, so be it. Because of this, Yahuwah Elohim gave them over to degrading passions. This is not my words. I'm just entertaining people, TikTok. I'm reading. Yahuwah Elohim gave them over to degrading passions, for even their women exchanged natural relations for what is against nature, Likewise, the men also, having left natural relations with the woman, burned in their lust for man, committing indecency, receiving back the reward which was due for their strain. This is my words. I'm just entertaining people, TikTok, reading from the book called The Scriptures. Let's go to the book called Yehuda, Jude, you know as Jude. Yehuda. There's only one page. There's only one chapter, verse 7. Even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities around them in a similar way to these, having given themselves over to whoring and gone after strange flesh, we just read that in Romans chapter 1, are set forth as an example, undergoing judicial punishment of everlasting fire. So you cannot choose to misuse your free will to break Torah, to have whatever type of sex you want to have. Lie number 9, once saved, always saved. No, that's a lie. Absolutely, that's a lie. We have to endure to the end. Endure to the end. Let's go to scriptures. Endure to the end is what scripture tells us. 1 Samuel 16. So I'm going to read a few examples of true melanated set-apart ones with the real DNA blood flowing through their veins, and yet they were not once saved, always saved. So no one today is once saved, always saved. 1 Samuel 16. 1 Samuel 16. Actually 15. We'll do 15. Verse 22 and 23. Shemuel was a prophet. He walked as a Nazarite in a Nazarite vow, and he was the last judge, highly favored of Yahuwah. Then Shemuel said to King Saul, "Does Yahuwah delight in ascending offerings and slaughterings, as in obeying the voice of Yahuwah? Look, to obey is better than a slaughtering, and to heed is better than the fat of rams." Verse 23, for rebellion is as the sin of divination, as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as wickedness and idolatry. So stubbornness is idolatry. Because he's talking to King Saul, a favored one of the first king of all the tribes, he was from Benjamin. Because he's talking to King Saul, have rejected the word of Yahuwah, Yahuwah also does reject you as sovereign. So evidently not once saved, always saved. And in 1 Samuel 16, talking about King Saul, whom Yahuwah rejected, because there's no once saved, always saved. Verse 13 through 15. And Shemuel took the horn of oil and anointed him, would be King David, in the midst of his brothers, and the Ruach of Yahuwah came upon David from that day onwards. And Shemuel arose and went to Ramah. Verse 14, and the Ruach of Yahuwah turned away from King Saul, and an evil spirit from Yahuwah troubled him. And the servants of Shaul said to him, look, now an evil spirit from Yahuwah Elohim is troubling you. Yeah, there's no once saved, always saved. Scriptures just does not teach that. Wolves teach that. Scriptures don't. Let's go to 1 Chronicles 28, verse 9. This was a warning to King Shlomo, King Solomon. This was a warning from King David, his father. 1 Chronicles 28, 9. As for you, my son Shlomo, or Solomon, this is King David talking, know the Elohim, Yahuwah of your father, and serve him with a perfect heart and with a pleasing life. And for Yahuwah searches all hearts and understands all the intent of the thoughts. Now here's the warning. If you seek him, he is found by you. But, there's the but. But if you forsake him, He rejects you forever. Yeah, there's no once saved, always saved. Malachi 3:6 says Yahuwah does not change. So therefore, there is no once saved, always saved. If he rejected a powerful king, two of them, King Saul and King Shlomo, and he rejected Korah, Dathan, and Abiram on the first Exodus, there is no once saved, always saved. Judas Iscariot, by his own wicked free will, was rejected and had to be replaced by another man to complete the 12 apostles in the first century. Scripture is very plain. You have to endure to the end. There is no once saved, always saved. That is a lie from the pit. TikTok, I'm just entertaining people. No one's trusting anything I say. Matthew 27. Matthew 27. Verse 3 through 10. Matthew 27. Then Yehuda, who delivered him up, Judas Iscariot, who delivered him up, having seen that he had been condemned. Yeah, Judas is condemned. Repented. Didn't work. Returned the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and to the elders, saying, I have sinned. Yeah, Judas Iscariot admitted he sinned. In delivering up innocent blood. And they said, what is that to us? You see to it. And throwing down the pieces of the silver in the dwelling place, the Hakal, Judas left and went and hanged himself. Did you know murder is a sin? Yeah. Even if it's your own body. He was rejected. And then he was replaced. The other 12 replaced Judas. Acts chapter 1 tells us Judas was rejected by Yahuwah, and then his office was replaced by someone else. Acts chapter 1, verse 19, and it became known to all those dwelling in Jerusalem, so that in their own language that field was called Hakal Dima, that is the field of blood. For it has been written in the book of the Telahim, let his dwelling, that's Judas Iscariot, let his dwelling lie in waste, because he's rejected. No once saved, always saved. And let no one live in it, and let another one take his office. So there's no once saved, always saved. Scripture does not teach that. Wolves teach that. Scriptures don't. All right, lie number 10, the wolves teach you. All roads lead to Heaven, which is a pagan word. Better word is the firmament. So the wolves will say, all roads lead to Heaven. It doesn't matter what church you go to. Well, yeah, it does. Because Yahushua didn't start a religion. He started a relationship with Yahuwah. He started to teach the Talmudim to have a relationship with the Creator. He didn't start a religion. Matthew 7, 21 through 23 teaches us that people who are part of 501c3 pagan religions are going to be in trouble with Yahuwah when he returns. They're going to hear these words in their ears. Matthew 7. This is a believer's book. He's only addressing a believing nation, so he's only warning believers what to do and what not to do. Matthew 7, 21, talking about believers. Not everyone who says to me, Master, Master, Yahusha, Yahusha. That's only believers who believe in a Mashiach. Pagans don't believe in a Mashiach. So this is a believing book warning believers. Many believers shall say to me in that day, Master, Master, have we not prophesied in your name, so they know the true name of the Mashiach, and cast out demons in your name, and done many mighty works? Yeah, works in your belief. Works in your name, but they didn't do the right works. Verse 23, notice the response from our beautiful melanated king. And then I, this is Yahushua talking, shall declare to them, believers, I never knew you. Depart from me, or get away from me, you who work lawlessness. Law, Hebrew word, Torah. So these believers are without strong Torah foundation. Their lawlessness. So they're not working in harmony with Torah. So there's no once saved, always saved. This verse says, he tells people, get away from me. That's the judge of all. Because in Yohanan 5:22, Yahusha says the Father, who's greater than him, gives him all authority to judge all. So there's no once saved, always saved. If he's going to tell a whole lot of believers, get away from me, you who work lawlessness. And not all roads lead to him and his Father. Obviously, because Revelation 18:1-4 says to get out of religion, to get out of pagan Babylon the Great, which is the worldwide empire of religion. Tied to politics, tied to commercialism. Worldwide empire. Revelation 18:1-4 tells us to get out of Babylon the Great. United States is not Babylon the Great. United States is Mystery Babylon, but not Babylon the Great. Revelation 18:1-4. All roads do not lead to Yahuwah. After this, I saw another Malachim coming down from the firmament, having great authority, and the Eretz, that's earth, was lightened from his esteem, and he cried with a mighty voice, saying, Babel, the great, is fallen, and has become a dwelling place of demons. So the religions house demons. And a haunt for every unclean spirit, and a haunt for every unclean and hated bird. If you do your research, birds are demons. You can go look at Luke chapter 8, verse 11 through, I think, 15. It tells you birds are demons when it comes to the scriptures. Verse 3, because all the nations, all means all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her, Babylon the Great's whoring. And all the sovereigns, or the kings and presidents of the earth, have committed whoring with her, Babylon the Great. And the merchants of the earth have become rich through the power of her riotous living, selling their idols, statues, and crosses, and rosary beads, and zit seats, and prayer shawls, and little beanie caps, and all of that. Verse 4, here's the warning. All roads don't lead to Yahuwah. And I heard another voice from the firmament say, come out. Come out of her, Babylon the Great, my people, lest you share in her sins, and lest you receive of her plagues. TikTok wants me to do the puzzle piece. So Babylon the Great is the worldwide empire of false religion that affects all nations, all sovereigns of the earth, and all merchants. Because merchants make billions and trillions of dollars selling you idol worship stuff. So Babylon the Great is the worldwide empire, false religion, led by one city that loves to decorate itself with purple and scarlet red. And one of their characters in the play wears a white robe with a gold or silver idol cross hanging off of his neck. You all know who we're talking about. That particular city, that's also a nation that's heavily involved in politics, that's heavily involved in so-called religion, that's heavily involved in merchandising, is Babylon the Great. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's Babylon the Great. World empire of false religion led by that particular religion. Get out of her. So all roads do not lead to the Creator. Lie number 11. Torah was nailed to the pagan cross. So Christianity says, oh, we're not under the law. Well, they have no idea how to rightly divide the written word, and neither do the wolves. We're not under the first covenant. We just read that earlier in Hebrews chapter 8, verses 6 through 13. You're not under the first covenant. Hebrews 8:13 says the first covenant was done away with. Hebrews 8:13. By saying renewed, because there's two separate covenants, by saying renewed, He, Yahuwah, has made the first one old. The first covenant is old. Now what becomes old and growing aged is nearing to disappearing, done away with. When you disappear something, it means you can't see it anymore. It ain't there anymore. So if you do word research, it no longer exists. So there are some Torah laws that no longer exist. I'll give you one example. Go get oil for your own lamp. But I'll give you one example. Animal sacrifices. We don't do that today. It doesn't exist. I'll give you another example. Stoning your child for being a drunk. Stoning your child to death for being a drunk. We don't do that today, people. So there are some Torah laws that no longer exist. Because Torah is living. Yahuwah adds and Yahuwah fulfills through his son fulfilling, and Yahuwah takes away. We don't do animal sacrifices today, and we don't stone our children for being drunk. You may kick them out of your house, but you don't stone them to death. But that was Torah law under the first covenant. Huh? Unalive, sorry. I'm being corrected. TikTok, this is for entertainment purposes only. I'm tired. It's been a long day. If I stumble on one or two words, TikTok, this is for entertainment purposes only. Nobody's believing anything I'm saying. Just for entertainment. All right. So that's lie number 10. All roads lead to Yahuwah. And then lie number 11. Torah has been nailed to the CROSS. No, there is no CROSS. That's an idol. You know something's an idol when the majority of the people who call themselves believer are doing it or wearing it. That's an idol. Let's go to 1 Yohanan 5, 1 through 3. So, were all Torah laws nailed to a pagan idol, CROSS? That's what Christianity will teach you. That's what some of the wolves will teach you. A lot of the wolves. 1 Yohanan 5, 1, 3 says plainly we're still under Torah. That applies with the renewed covenant. You bet we are. Stick to scriptures. 1 John 5, 1 through 3 defines what love for Yahuwah is. What's love for Yahuwah? Let's let the scriptures tell us how we define love for Yahuwah. 1 John 5, 1 through 3. Everyone who believes that Yahusha is the Mashiach has been born of Yahuwah Elohim. And everyone who loves the one bringing forth also loves the one having been born of him. No Trinity. They're two separate individuals. Father separate from the Son. Verse 2 of 1 Yohanan 5. By this we know that we love the children of Yahuwah Elohim when we love Yahuwah Elohim and guard his commands. Torah. Verse 3. For this is the love of Yahuwah Elohim, that we guard his commands, guard his Torah, and his commands, his Torah, is not heavy. So we're still under Torah. Go to Exodus chapter 20 and read the 10 words. We're under those 10 words. And then go to the Brit Hadashah and the extra books that were taken away. We're not supposed to eat meat. That's a Torah. We're supposed to love the animals and humans. That's Torah. You're not supposed to do vengeance on your enemy. That's Torah. So there's all kinds of Torah. Yahusha is living Torah. He added to his father's Torah with his father's permission when he came to the earth. So study, get your oil for your lamp. To love Yahuwah means you love Torah. We're still under Torah law. It has not been nailed anywhere. Lie number 12. Our redemption, or you may say salvation, is not work-based. It's only Grace, which is a pagan word. Grace is a pagan female deity. They used to make statues and worship her. So you don't want to use that pagan word. So, the wolves will say that your redemption or salvation has nothing to do with works. It's only Grace, but that's not what scriptures teach. Again, let's stick to what scriptures teach. Zephaniah. We're going to go to the Aubrey part of the book, and we're going to go to the Brit Hadashah, New Testament part of the book. So let's start with the Aubrey part of the book. Zephaniah, chapter 2, 1 through 3. Zephaniah chapter 2, 1 through 3. Do we have to perform works of righteousness? You bet we do. Scripture teaches it. Zephaniah chapter 2, 1 through 3. Gather together, gather together. That's works. We're gathering right now here on TikTok. So that's part of your works. Finding a fellowship, finding other like-minded ones. So gather together, gather together, gather together. O nation, we're being gathered as a nation right now, without shame. First and foremost is talking to the melanated nation of the Yasharites, and then by extension, Gentiles grafted in. Before the law gives birth, the day shall pass on like chaff. The law gives birth? What do you mean? We're still under Torah? He's going to give birth to more Torah? You bet. Scripture says more Torah laws are coming. When you get on 2nd Exodus, there's going to be a lot more new Torah laws going to be given. Before law gives birth, the day shall pass on like chaff before the burning wrath of Yahuwah comes upon you. So we know the scripture's talking about our time. Before the day of the wrath of Yahuwah comes upon you. We're waiting for that day. Notice what it tells you to do in verse 3 of Zephaniah chapter 2. Seek Yahuwah. That takes work and effort to study and seek Yahuwah. All you meek ones of the Eretz, the earth, who have done his right ruling, so that's works. Seek righteousness, well, that's works. You got to learn how to seek righteousness, so that's works. Seek meekness, you got to learn how to be meek, so that's works. If, there's that word, if so, be that you, if you seek righteousness, if you seek meekness, if you seek Torah, if so be that you are hidden, not raptured, doesn't say raptured, hidden in the day of the wrath of Yahuwah. Hidden. Raptured's taken away. There is no raptured. Only the wicked are taken away. Psalms chapter 37, 8 through 11 tells you the wicked are removed, taken away from the earth. Remember, Satan takes the truth and twists it upside down. Teaches the lie. We're going to be hidden in the day of his wrath. We're not going to be raptured anywhere. Hidden on 2nd Exodus. No rapture. So, is redemption work-based? Well, Zephaniah says, yeah, you got to seek righteousness. That's works. You got to seek meekness. That's works. You got to seek Torah. That's works. Now let's go to Matthew chapter 5. Let's go to Matthew chapter 5. Did Yahusha teach that we have to perform works in order to be redeemed? Let's stick to what scriptures teach. Matthew chapter 5, 14 through 16. You are the light of the world. It is impossible for a city to be hidden on a mountain. So the true melanated Yasharites were to be a light to the rest of the world of Gentiles. You are a light of the world. It is impossible for a city to be hidden on a mountain, nor do they light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a lampstand, and it shines to all those in the house. Verse 16, let your light shine. That's works. That's work-based. That's works of righteousness. Let your light shine before men. So you got to do works of righteousness before men. That's shining your light. So that they see your what? What does Scripture say? So that they see your good works and praise your Abba who is in the firmament. Yeah, Yahushua taught works. Along with your belief in him, you will have redemption from the Father. Works and belief go together. Yep. Let's go to the book of Jacob, James. You know English, James, but Aubrey, it's Jacob. Do we have to perform works for our redemption? You bet we do. Scripture teaches it. Jacob, James chapter 2, starting in verse 14. This is what they taught in the first century. We are to imitate the first century Talmudim believers. So if they knew it was work-based along with their belief, you better believe it too. Stick to the scriptures. Jacob 2:14. My brothers, what use is it for anyone to say he has belief, but, there's that but does not have works? Question mark. This belief without works, is unable to save him. Right there. I could stop with just this verse alone right here. Hello, people. You should be reading along. Belief, or GRACE alone, is not enough to save you. It's right here in Scripture. Now, here are the works. Here's an example of works. If a brother or sister is naked and in need of daily food, but one of you says to them, go in shalom, be warm and be filled, but you do not give, that's works, do not give them what the body needs, what use is it? So if you don't do the works of giving food to someone who needs food, or giving clothing to someone who needs clothing, especially if they were a fellow believer, that's works. Jacob, a teacher in the first century, says, what good is it? Verse 17, so also belief, if it does not have works, it is in itself dead. Scripture says you have to have righteous works. So it is not a GRACE based belief only. No. Many believers are going to hear Matthew 7:21 through 23 in their ear because they believe that their redemption is solely based on belief only, when scriptures don't teach that. Lie number 13, speaking in tongues is proof that you have Ruach with you. No, absolutely not. No, but you'll have wolves teach you that. 1 Corinthians 13. 1 Corinthians 13. You do not have to speak in this babble kundalini stupid language to prove that you have Ruach HaKodesh. That's a lie from the 501c3 religions. 1 Corinthians 13 verse 1. If I speak with the tongues of men and of Malachim. So there's two types of tongues. You can speak the tongues of men, which is in Acts chapter 2, they could speak instantaneously in French or Italian or German or whatever Mesopotamian, whatever language was present in the first century, they could instantaneously speak in the tongues of men. That's one form of tongues. And the tongues of Malachim. That's the second form of tongues. But do not have love. I have become a sounding brass or a clanging cymbal. So just because you can speak in tongues does not mean you have Ruach HaKodesh. Let's stick to what scriptures teach. If you don't have love for Torah, which Pentecostals do not have love for Torah, and they do not have love for a melanated Yahushua HaMashiach, they pray and serve a white JC based off of Caesar Borgia. So they don't have true Ruach, they call HS, simply because they can speak in Pentecostal tongues. Doesn't work that way. That's Kundalini spirit. That's Satan. Let's stick to scripture. Verse 8, love never fails. And whether there be prophecies, they shall be inactive. Stop. Or tongues, they shall cease or stop. Or knowledge, it shall be inactive. So this is from the first century believers. They had the prophecies, but they stopped. They had the ability to speak in tongues of men and of Malachim, but it ceased and became inactive. Hello, stick to what scriptures teach. So Acts chapter 2, the tongue of men is what was predominantly done in the first century. So let's stick to scripture. Acts chapter 2, 1 through 8. This is the tongues of men that was predominantly done to show that the tongues of fire were the baptism of Ruach was in you and on you and over you. Acts chapter 2, verse 1. And when the day of the festival, the Shabbat, had come, that's Pentecost, they were all with one mind in one place. Who? The 120? If you stick to Scripture, context of Scripture, Acts chapter 1 says there's 120 in verse 15. 120 in the upper room. So he's talking about the 120. And suddenly there came a sound from the firmament as of a rushing mighty wind, and it filled all the house where the 120 were, where they were sitting, and there appeared to them divided tongues as of fire, and it settled on each one of them. And they were all filled with the set-apart Ruach, and began to speak with other tongues. What kind of tongues? Well, just drop down. Verse 7, they were all amazed and marveled, saying to each other, look, are not all these who speak Galileans? And how do we hear, each one in our own language? Parthians, Medes, Elamites, those dwelling in Aram Naharaim, both Yehuda and Cappadocia, Pontus, Asia. It gives you a list of foreign languages. The languages of men that 1 Corinthians 13:1 talked about, that would be done away with. So no, that's a lie. A wolf saying, oh, you have to speak in tongues today in order for us to believe you're a true believer. No, that's a lie. Because Scripture says they were done away with. And today is the Kundalini spirit, not Ruach HaKodesh. Principle to live by. If something's popular in the world of the masses of believers, according to Matthew 7:13 and 14, it's not of a Yahuwah. Few are on the narrow road. The masses are going to be doing all kinds of things out there that's popular with the masses. Well, they're on the wrong road. That's not serving Yahuwah, according to Scripture. So that's a principle. Anything popular in this world that you may be tempted to do or tempted to be a part of, if it's popular with many people and different types of religions and different types of movements, it's not of Yahuwah. All right. Let's move on to the next slide. Lie 14. Wolves teach you. They'll say, Yahuwah knows your heart. It's okay if you don't change. He knows your heart. He knows what you've been through in life. Well, that's a lie. Yeah, he knows the heart, but you can't say you don't have to change when Scriptures say you have to put on the new personality. That's works. That's changing who you are from the old man to the new man. That's part of your works. But the wolves are going to say, it's okay, you can stay just the way you are. You don't have to stress yourself out putting on a new personality. I've heard them. That's a lie. Jeremiah 17:9 talks about the heart. We have to beware of the heart. Why? Well, what does Scriptures tell us about the heart? Let's stick to Scriptures. Jeremiah 17:9, the heart is crooked. Some translations say treacherous. Above all, above everything else, your heart is more treacherous. And desperately sick. So your heart is treacherous, crooked, sick. Who shall know it? We don't even know our own heart at times. Because our heart will lead us into sin. Breaking Torah, hurting Yahuwah's feelings. Your heart will lead you down that wicked road of sin. So the wolves will say, Yahuwah knows your heart. He knows it's too hard for you to change. That's a lie. Absolute lie. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 4. What's the command they taught in the first century? Let's stick to the Scriptures. Ephesians 4. What was it they told the believers to do? Because we're reading their book. Ephesians chapter 4. You can read the whole chapter, but verse 20. But you have not learned Mashiach, if indeed you have heard him and were taught by him, as truth is in Yahusha, that you put off with regard to your former behavior, your old personality, the old man, being corrupted according to the desires of the deceit, and to be renewed. There's your works, having to put on your new personality. Be renewed in the ruach of your mind, and that you put on, there's your works, the renewed man, which was created, your new personality is created, according to Yahuwah Elohim, in righteousness, because you weren't walking in righteousness before, and set apartness, you weren't walking as a set apart person before, you were part of the world, you were part of the religions of the world, of the truth. Verse 25, therefore, having put off, that's works, you got to work hard to put off your old personality, put off the false, speak truth, each one with his neighbor, for we are members of one another. So the scripture teaches works and belief go together. Absolutely. And you cannot use the excuse, oh, Yahuwah knows my heart. Yeah, he knows it's treacherous. And he's telling you to change it and be renewed. Lie number 15, the wolves will use, say, and teach. The wolves say, it's okay if you use G-O-D, L-O-R-D, G-R-A-C-E, M-E-R-C-Y, B-I-B-L-E, H-O-L-Y, B-L-E-S-S, and so forth, and so forth. Those are pagan words. They say, it's okay, you have to meet the new people where they're at. Scripture doesn't say that. I just read scripture that says you're to pull them up and help them to put on the new personality, which means they have to stop using the nasty pagan words that break Torah at Exodus 23:13, which we're still under. Exodus 23:13 is part of the marriage covenant that was inside of the ark. The law of Kabar, you know, as the law of Moses, was a book held outside the ark. The marriage covenant laws, Torah laws, from Exodus 20 through Exodus 23 were held inside the Ark of the Covenant. Exodus 23:13, we're still under. Exodus 23:13. Not supposed to do this, but the wolves will break this law all the time. That's why they're going to hear Matthew 7:21 through 23 in their ears. Exodus, Shemoth, chapter 23, verse 13. This is a command. And in all that I have said to you, take heed, and make no mention of the name of other mighty ones. Let it not be heard from your mouth. This is a tough one, because all 7 yoms, or days of the week, are all mighty one names. The planets, which aren't planets, they're all names of mighty ones. G-O-D is a mighty one. L-O-R-D is a mighty one. G-R-A-C-E is a mighty one. M-E-R-C-Y is a mighty one. B-I-B-L-E is a female mighty one. Do your research, do your homework, get your oil for your lamps, so you're not sinning against Yahuwah. And what's the warning at Yirmiyahu chapter 10? What's the warning? Let's go read the warning. Yirmiyahu chapter 10. What are we not supposed to do? Thus says Yahuwah, do not, sounds like a command, do not learn the way of the nations, the pagan Gentile nations, and do not be awed by the signs of the firmament, for the nations are awed by them. Don't be in awe of looking at fallen stars, because if you do research and figure out what a fallen star is, you're in awe of a fallen one falling, being kicked out from above. They're being kicked out of the firmament, people, and being cast and thrown down to the earth. Don't be in awe of fallen stars. Don't make a wish on them. Don't do all that junk that the nations do. Don't use pagan words. They offend Yahuwah. Lie number 16. The wolves will use idols, tzitzits, and prayer shawls, and big old gold necklaces or wood necklaces carved with Yahuwah's name. That's an idol. Or purple shirts with fringes. That's idol worship. Or having a menorah and having the Star of David. Idol worship. Or having all kinds of fancy clothes. Idol worship. All kinds of symbolism. Idol worship. How are we supposed to worship Yahuwah? Scripture tells us how. Yohanan 4:24, Scripture tells us how we're supposed to. This is Yahusha talking how we're supposed to worship Yahuwah. His way, not our way, with idols. Yohanan 4:24, Yahusha talking. Elohim is Ruach, and those who worship him need to worship in Ruach and truth. Ruach is invisibility. You worship Yahuwah with invisibility, Ruach, and in truth, the written word. You do not need any necklaces with his name. You do not need any baseball caps with his name. You do not need prayer shawls. You do not need a menorah sitting in front of your table when you're doing a live. You don't need to show off all your idol things you have on your table while you're doing a live to try to impress people. It doesn't impress true ones. It makes us disgusted. A wolf is going to say it's okay to use idols because it's your personal choice what you wear. No. We're supposed to worship Yahuwah in Ruach and in truth. Spirit, invisibility, truth. We're not have to have anything tangible. Now, I'm a sister, so I wear a head covering, which is just a simple scarf over my head. And then I'll have like a band over my hair, and then I'll just put a scarf over it when I do scripture teachings, because I'm respecting the melanated prophets who wrote all the books. That's not idol worship for a sister to cover her head, but it's idol worship for a brother if he covers his crown, because he's only supposed to wear a simple turban. But you don't have to attach a Star of David or a menorah emblem or gold or silver or whatever else. You don't attach anything to that simple turban. The brother's to wear a turban, which leaves the crown of his head open. People, come on. Get your oil for your lamps. Get out of idol worship. What's the warning at 1 John 5:21? The same warning that was given to the first century believers is given to us today, because we're reading the same book. 1 John 5:1. What are we to stay away from? Little children, keep yourselves from idols. It's that simple. All right, it's getting late here, so I'm going to go through. I'm on 17. Lie that the wolves teach is Sabbath is night-to-night celebration and each day starts at night. That is a wicked, wicked lie. Wicked lie. Every day starts at dawn, and the Sabbath day starts at dawn. And so Satan is laughing at the majority of you, because he has you working on your supposedly, quote-unquote, prep day, which is Friday, which is actually the Sabbath. At dawn is Friday day. Each week, there's only 7 days in a week. There's not 8. There's a wicked cult group online, World's Last Chance. They're teaching you, no, that's wicked. Do your research. There's no 8 days. That's wicked. There's only 7 days in a week. Stick with Genesis, better sheet. There's only 7. That's it. You only can count 7. And the 7th is the Sabbath. And Yahuwah put in his scriptures that it would be a regular work day. How do we know? Because there's scripture after scripture telling you don't work your job on the Sabbath. So Yahuwah knew in advance, all the way up to this last day, it would be a regular work day, not an SAT day, not an SUN day. That's not a regular work day. He wouldn't have warned so many times, do not work, do not work, do not work, if it wasn't going to be part of the last day generation regular work week. MON through FRI day is a regular work week for most believers. So the Sabbath is going to be part of a regular work week. People, come on. Think. Get out from underneath those stupid rules. If something is popular in Hasatan's world, 1 John 5:19 says the whole world lies in the power of Hasatan. So if something is popularly done, like prep day being FRI day, if that's popular among a lot of believers, you're doing it wrong. You're on the wrong road. You're on the wrong road if you're doing night-to-night Sabbaths. You're on the wrong road if you think prep day is FRIDAY. No! Sabbath starts at dawn. It's very easy if you have a true humble heart. Start with the basics. Start with the first book. Start with better sheet. If you just start with the basics and ask Yahuwah to show you the truth with a humble heart, He's going to show you. And we have to try to maintain a humble heart. It ain't easy to do that. We're not born with humility. But if you walk in humility at the time you're praying for him to show you, he's going to show you. But we as wicked people with wicked hearts go in and out of humility. It's something we have to strive to keep working on, is humility. But if you're in true humility, he's going to open your eyes to Bereshit chapter 1. Bereshit, the beginning. Start with the beginning. You'll know each day starts at dawn, not at evening. Bereshit chapter 1. Follow along, please. Don't listen to my words. Follow along the scripture. So what is Yahuwah doing on the first day? He's creating. When does he create? During the hours of the day? Okay? Hours of the day? Yom. In the beginning, Yahuwah Elohim created the Yeretz, the firmament and the Yeretz. And the Yeretz came to be formless and empty, and darkness was on the face. This is day 1. And darkness was on the face of the deep, and the Ruach of Elohim, that's wisdom, was moving on the face of the waters. And Yahuwah Elohim said, let light come to be. And light came to be. That's Yahushua HaMashiach. He's the light of the world. Yohanan 8:12. He's the light of the world. Verse 4, and Elohim saw the light, and it was good. He's still working. And Elohim separated the light from the darkness. And Elohim called the light Yom, or day. And the darkness he called night. So he's creating. What does he do now? He stops creating. And there came to be evening, because he's no longer creating, people. He's resting at evening. There came to be evening after he's already created light, after the Ruach of Yahuwah was moving over the face of the waters, after he was busy during the day creating. Evening came of that same day. He's resting. There came to be evening. He's no longer working. There came to be morning one day. So if you stick to scriptures, when does each day end? At dawn. At the morning. It's so easy to understand. It's not complicated. Verse 5, Bereshit chapter 1 says, day 1 ended in the morning. So logically, when does the next day begin? Well, at the same moment, the first day ends. Second day begins in the morning. So what is Yahuwah doing in verse 6? He's creating again. When does he start? In the morning. When day 2 starts, because day 1 ends in the morning. So day 2 logically starts in the morning. And he's creating. He's working. Verse 6. Elohim said, let an expanse come to be in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters. And Elohim made the expanse, and separated the waters which were under the expanse from the waters which were above the expanse. That's called the firmament. And it came to be so. He's working, starting at dawn. Starting in the morning, on the second day, he's working. Verse 8, and Elohim called the expanse the firmament. You may know it as the pagan word Heaven. So now he's done working. He's giving it a name called the firmament. Notice now he's resting from his works that he started in the morning of the second day, starting right after the first day ended in the morning. It's not hard. Verse 8, there came to be evening, because he's resting. He's been working. And there came to be morning the second day. So when does the second day end? Same time frame as the first day ended, in the morning. So logically then, if the first day ended in the morning and the second day started in the morning and he started creating and working, then he rested in the evening, and then the next morning was the end of the second day, then logically what comes next? The third day, the beginning of the third day at morning. And what is again Yahuwah doing? Creating. He's working at the beginning in the morning of the third day. This is not hard. This is not hard. Verse 9. Elohim said, now he's creating, starting in the morning. Let the waters under the firmament be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it came to be. He's creating. He's working. Verse 10, and Elohim called the dry land the Eretz, as earth, and the collection of the waters he called the seas. And Elohim saw that it was good. Verse 11, and Elohim said, let the earth, the Eretz, bring forth grass. He's still creating. It's the third day. He's still creating. And plant that yields seed, and the fruit tree that yields fruit according to its kind, whose seed is in itself. So eat your fruits with seeds in it. On the Eretz, and it came to be so. He's still creating. Verse 12, and the earth brought forth grass, the plant that yields seed according to its kind, and the tree that yields fruit, whose seed is in itself according to its kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. He's happy with what he created at the beginning of day 3 in the morning, all through the day. Verse 13, and there came to be evening. Why? Because he's done creating, and now he's resting once again from being busy since dawn. And there came to be morning, the third day. So when did the third day end? Same time frame as the second day end. Same time frame as the first day ended, at dawn. I'm just sticking to what scriptures teach. This is very simple. Verse 14. Elohim said, let lights come to be in the expanse, the firmament, of the firmament, and separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs and appointed times, Moedim, and for the days and the years. And let them, all the lights, not just the moon calendar, not just the sun calendar, you use all the lights, sun, moon, and stars, constellation. And let them, all the lights, be for lights in the expanse of the firmament, to give light on the earth, and it came to be so. Verse 16. And Elohim made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day, that's the S-U-N, and the lesser light to rule the night, that's the M-O-N, M-O-O-N, and the stars. So if you stick with scriptures, the real true calendar, and you can, well, I don't know if you can't find it now, but you could years ago when we did it. You go to the Dead Sea Scrolls, you go to the 66, you go to the Book of Josephus, you get a sun app and a moon app, because it's a sun, moon, and stars calendar. You use all the lights. You will see very clearly that the Sabbath day is Friday at dawn. And it runs 24 hours till SAT at dawn. Not the opposite, what Satan teaches you, FRI night to SAT night. That's the opposite of the truth. Satan will always, always, always teach the opposite of the truth. Always. And the masses of believers will always follow Hasatan's way, not Yahuwah's way. That's what scriptures teach. Verse 17, and Elohim set them in the firmament, or the expanse of the firmament, to give light on the earth, and they're in the firmament. Did you catch that? The sun is not 93 million miles away. People, come on, use your brain. Get out from underneath the lies of all the wolves before it's too late. Elohim set them, all the lights and the stars, in the expanse of the firmament, in the firmament, to give light on the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to separate the light from the darkness. And Elohim saw that it was good. So what is he doing? He's finishing up his creative works. Verse 19, and now what is he doing? He's resting once again. And there came to be evening. Why? Because he's not working any longer for that day. He's now resting. And there came to be morning, the 4th day. So when did the 4th day end? At morning, just like the 3rd and the 2nd and the 1st day ended at dawn in the morning. And so on the 5th day at morning, what's he starting to do? He's starting to create again. Verse 20, and Elohim said, let the waters teem with shoals of living beings. So he's creating. When? At dawn, the beginning of the 5th day, because all days start at dawn. And let birds fly above the arets on the face of the expanse of the firmament. And Elohim created great sea monsters, great sea creatures, and every living being that moves, with which the waters teemed, according to their kind, and every winged bird according to its kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. He's happy with his creation that he started at dawn on the 5th day. And Elohim baruched them, saying, Be fruitful and increase, and fill the waters and the seas, and let the birds increase on the arets. 23. Now he's resting once again. And there came to be evening. He's no longer creating birds. He's no longer creating sea monsters. He's no longer creating anything that swims in the sea. Why? Because he started at dawn, and now he's resting. There came to be evening. And there came to be morning the 5th day. The close of the 5th day is at the morning dawn. Verse 24, and Elohim said, Let earth, now this is the beginning of the 6th day. When does it start? At dawn. And Elohim said, Let the earth bring forth living beings according to its kind, livestock and creeping creatures, and beasts of the earth, the arets, according to its kind. So there's no mixing kinds like scientists do today under the fallen Malachim's direction. You're not supposed to mix kinds. According to its kind, and so it came to be so. Verse 25, and Elohim made the beast of the earth according to its kind, livestock according to its kind, and all that creep on the earth according to its kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. Verse 26. We're on the 6th day. So when is man created? On the 6th day. We're still in the 6th day. And Elohim said, Let us, plural, because the Father, the Mother, and the Son, S-O-N, were all present in the beginning. Let us make man in our image. That's not Inky and Elil, like wolves will teach you. No, that's Yahuwah with wisdom and the light that was created on day 1. Her son, Yahusha, the Word. Let us make man in our image according to our likeness, and let them rule over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the firmament, and over the livestock, and over all the arets, and over all the creeping creatures that creep on the ground. And Elohim created the man in his image. In the image of Elohim, he created him. Male and female, he created them. Well, who's Hawa? Eve created in. She's created in the image of a female Ruach called wisdom. Ruach HaKodesh. Verse 28. And Elohim, which is plural, Elohim is plural. And Elohim baruched them, and Elohim said to them, Be fruitful and increase, and fill the earth and subdue it, and rule over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the firmament, and over all creeping creatures of the arets. Verse 29. And Elohim said, See, I have given you every plant that yields seed, which is on the face of all the arets, and every tree whose fruit yields seed. To you it is for food. Some translations say for meat. So meat isn't flesh of animals. You better do your word research. Everybody started out not as a vegan, that is an evil cult, as vegetarians, people, come on. Vegetarians, not vegans. Verse 30. And to every beast of the arets, and to every bird of the firmament, and to every creeping creature on the arets, in which there is a living being, every green plant is for food. So all the animals were eating plants as well, not each other. And it came to be so. Verse 31. And Elohim saw that all he had made, and see, it was very good. And there came to be evening on the 6th day. We're still in it. And there came to be morning the 6th day. We're still in the 6th day because Scripture tells you about the future. We're humans living, catching up to future time. Revelation's already fulfilled, but yet we haven't lived it yet. The whole book of Revelation. We're still in the 6th day. The millennial reign is called the 7th day. Yahuwah's already there. We're not. He is. Because time doesn't constrain Yahuwah. Time constrains us, not Yahuwah. If you stick to the basics, you will see very clearly. If you are humble, you will see very clearly what scriptures teach versus what the wolves teach. Stick to what scriptures teach. I'm going to stop there with 17. The next time I go live, if I can go live on TikTok, all praises to the Most High, I was able to do it tonight. So I left off with lie number 17. I'll start with lie number 18 the next time I go live on TikTok. So it's very plain. Let's read a scripture. 1 Thessalonians 5:5. You have a choice. Actually, let's start, before we read that one, let's go to Better Sheet, Genesis chapter 3:15. You have only two choices. That's it. Every human being, real human being, has only two choices. Two choices to use your free will. Only in two ways. Better Sheet chapter 3, verse 15. Yahuwah is talking. I put enmity, which is strong hatred. I put enmity between you and the woman, between your seed and her seed. He shall crush your head. Yahusha will crush the head of all the Hasatans. And you shall crush his heel. That's what happened when he was hanging on the tree, not a CROSS. So there's only two choices. We're either children of Yahusha, who crushes the head of the serpent, or you're the children of darkness. There's only two choices. So 1 Thessalonians 5:5 tells you you should choose this one. This should be your choice if you are mature and humble and you know your scriptures. There's only two choices. 1 Thessalonians 5:5. Sabbath does not start at night, so don't be a child of the darkness. I'm reading straight from scripture. Verse 5. For we are all sons of the light and sons of the day, because Sabbath starts at dawn. We are not of the night, nor of darkness, because the masses follow Hasatan of darkness, the prince of night, and he has you starting Sabbath at night, following the fake people who do it at night. Let me repeat that. 1 Thessalonians 5:5. For you are all sons of the light and sons of the day, because Sabbath starts at dawn. We are not of the night, nor of darkness. You only have two choices. That's it. There is no other choice. You either do the works of righteousness that's tied to true belief and you become a child of the day, and you study on your own scriptures to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt each day starts at dawn, including the Sabbath day starts at dawn. Because the sixth day ends at dawn in the morning. So logically, when would the seventh day start? At the morning. Just like day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 started in the morning. Day 7 follows the same pattern. You can be a child of the light, or you can be a child of darkness and follow after the masses. And you will be guilty by association and hear the words, get away from me, you worker of lawlessness, because you're breaking Torah. Because Better Sheet chapter 1 says each day starts in the morning and each day ends in the morning. It's a full cycle. Morning to the afternoon to the evening and back to the morning is a full cycle of one complete day, according to Genesis chapter 1. Thank you everybody for joining. All praises to the Most High.